gals, never here for Drake Wayne Gaming. And some of you may on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with another Let's Play episode of Moonlight Castle, Dylan's Path. So I'm playing with the new updated version, y'all, so let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Right, yeah, I think I can see that. Let's do some stretching. Do you know how? Don't force it if you feel like any kind of pain. I tried to follow him, but I couldn't, as I wasn't flexible enough. He tried to help me by holding my body in place, but it still wasn't really going well. Don't get discouraged. This is your first time in years. Eventually your body will wake up, and we can slowly help you get stronger. We? What do you mean? You should join us. Ryan would be thrilled to have you. We can customize a session just for you. I know exactly what we can try. I'd love to, but I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be able to keep up with you guys. Dude, trust me. I've done this job for a while. You aren't the first and won't be the last. I know exactly what will work best for you. I can't afford it, though. Gyms can be pretty expensive, and the money I have right now goes to my groceries and medicines. Listen, my gym offers a 1-week free trial. If you like it, good. If you don't, then you can quit whenever. To me, that's a win-win. I'll think about it, okay? Sure, text me whenever. Text me about it whenever. I'll try to get them to assign you to me. The training didn't last long. I got tired quickly. My body was definitely out of shape. Patrice was giving me most likely the easiest lesson he could give. Yet I was almost dying. Truly, that was embarrassing. Ooh, that's nice. Don't be sad. Come here and rest with me under the shade. Patrice patted the grass next to him. He found us a comfortable spot under the tree. I crawled there and sat with him. It's quite nice. The breeze makes me feel better. It was a peaceful moment between him and me, and a well-deserved rest after a tiring workout. I like to lie on the grass and watch the sky. It's a bit cloudy today. You can't see much. I like to watch the clouds move. I think it's relaxing. And I could kind of understand making shapes out of the clouds, but just watching them move? That's new. He chuckled and placed his arms behind his head to use them as a pillow. I must be a special tiger, then. Can I ask you something? Sure, what is it? I can't stop thinking about how different you are today from how you were the first time we met. How was I... Oh. I saw him struggle to come up with an answer. You know what I mean, right? You were so confident and strong just now, opposite to how you were yesterday. It was just that supernatural bullshit. Those kinds of things really freak me out. You won't understand. Did something happen to you? I mean, if you're comfortable sharing it. It's not a nice story. Want to hear it anyway? If you want to tell me about it. Alright. I guess I'll just tell you the story. It happened when I was a kid. We were on our way back from the pool, and it was just an ordinary summer day with my family. Nothing special. I was told that a car hit us from the side. The impact was so hard that I lost consciousness the moment it happened. I don't remember the details, but I do remember how the car looked afterward. I could feel the shift in his tone. His voice was shaky as he tried to put together his words. He was probably trying to keep his cool and appear casual, but I could see that it was difficult for him to do so. It's awful! God, I wasn't expecting that! Don't worry, neither my family nor I was injured. That's a relief. Yeah, at least my family didn't die. Patrice clenched his fists, his body tensing up. The brightness in his eyes was replaced with a sorrowful blight. Someone else did. I was silent. I didn't want to interrupt him, and I was afraid that I might say something stupid. I woke up outside the car, and I was lying against a wall or something. I'm not sure if someone put me there, if I got there myself. Maybe the people who witnessed the crash helped me, but I don't remember it. The tiger took a deep breath. It was a sight that I'll never forget. I think time itself stopped so that I could burn the scene permanently into my memory. I put my hand on his chest, trying to get him to stop telling the story. I'd rather not know if it meant making him go through his trauma again. I never want him to relive those horrible memories. Not like this. I didn't know what to do. I just froze there, scared, as the blood poured everywhere and dyed everything red. Patrice. I wanted to just scream, get up and run away, but it felt like my body had stopped working. That's enough! His eyes widened. It seemed he was beginning to snap out of it. Though it appeared he didn't realize how much he'd been carried away by his story. Awkwardly, the tiger laughed it off. Too much? That's not the problem. I'm fine. It happened a long time ago. I'm over it. Sorry I asked about it. I shouldn't have done that. But I agreed to tell it to you. I already share the story regularly anyway, because I have to explain my extreme reactions to people all the time. I frowned. The image of how distraught the tiger was just a moment ago still hadn't left my head. But what does it have to do with the occult? I'm not quite sure myself. I guess it just reminds me of the incident. Patrice sighed. He appeared to be upset and confused, probably because even he couldn't fully understand his problems. Have you tried consulting a professional? I have. It didn't work. I struggled to find something meaningful to say to him. Anyway, he broke the silence. You can move your hand off now, unless you're trying to get a freebie of my pecs. Ah! I had forgotten that my hand was there. I pulled it away as fast as I could. Don't get me wrong, though. I appreciate the intimacy. I just don't like getting called a pervert for liking it. I was just trying to help you feel better. I didn't realize until later, how I should have worded that differently. Oh, Joel, I know a lot of things you can do to help me feel better. He laughed and winked at me, and I just crawled away. You can't blame me for that one. Damn, sorry, I'll keep in mind not to be concerned about you from now on. Alright, I get it. You can stop being sassy now. I wonder what Ryan would say. Yo, wait, let's talk about this. I muttered about snitching. I muttered about snitching on the tiger. And I was one who was laughing. Ugh, sorry, y'all. Oh, that's good. Alright. What are you bringing tonight? Spices. I have a collection and even grow a small garden. They're essential to a nutritionist and a gym trainer such as myself. Are they? I was doubting it, as it sounded like it was only something convenient he mentioned just to introduce a hobby of his. Maybe I'll get to see your garden one day. I stood up and wiped the dust off my clothes and prepared to head off. Wait, what about Ryan? You're not going to tell him, right? Maybe. Depends on your behavior. I made sure that the tiger heard that, and I hummed as I headed toward the building. Someone still owes me a drink from yesterday. I was just trying to mess with him like how he was messing with me, but I didn't think much of it. I entered the building and wasn't really paying attention to whether or not there was a reply from the tiger. Excuse me. There was still time before the meeting would happen. Therefore, I thought it was time to do the thing I'd been meaning to do, but had been pushing away for too long. As I kept pondering, I walked through the college building to get to the exit. Walking on the sidewalk, I looked at the number I was about to dial, and my finger refused to press the green button, no matter how much I wanted to just get over it with. I thought of the unfilled cabinets in my room. The pantry was ever so empty. It was difficult not to be reminded of such deeds. After all, it was the fault of all my friends, who kept feeding me and caring for me too well, so much that I'd gotten used to it. I felt guilty having to rely on them. It wasn't that I disliked eating. In fact, I never liked to be starved, but that person was just so scary. Thinking of his voice, that alone killed my appetite. It was traumatizing each time I heard it, and just the thought that I might have to hear it again buried all the courage I'd mustered to call my mother. I sighed as I stared at the screen. Now was a good opportunity to call her. I'd avoided her for so long that I wanted to apologize. Eventually, I gave in to the pressure. The call was made. It was taking so long to be picked up that I began to worry he'd be the one answering it instead of her. I readied my finger that was hovering over the red button. Joel! Relieved to hear it was her voice. Sorry, I put my mind and my mental energy to rest. Some dumb luck saved me this time, I thought. Is that you? She continued to speak, and she was pleading for my answer. My long exhale definitely made it through, but that shouldn't count as an answer. I had to give her a proper one. Hello? Sheepishly I replied. Sometimes talking to her could resemble treading on eggshells. Thank goodness you're okay. I was so worried when you stopped answering my calls. Yeah, I know. I thought about coming over to you, but he stopped me. He kept saying that you're an adult, and if you ever decide to leave, I'll have to let you go. But you're my son, and I can never leave you out of my life, even if you cut me out of yours. Next time I'll be there. The idea of seeing her randomly showing up at my door terrified me. It was enough to push me to be more straightforward. No, that'd make things worse. Why, Joel? What's wrong? You should know that you can talk to me about anything. I'm worried. There's nothing wrong, at least not between us. I was trying to keep my composure, but all my words were shaky. Struggling to say what the problem was, I was frantic. She sighed and became less aggressive with her tone. I know there's something you want to tell me, but for some reason you can't. And what am I supposed to do? Maybe you should come over and we can talk about it over a nice cup of tea. I can't, otherwise I would have done it already. Exams? Yeah, and I'm studying for a project. So, I can safely assume the problem isn't school-related? No, it's not school-related. I'm doing fine, it's just a little stressful. What about your allowance? You disappeared so suddenly and I couldn't give you money anymore. I could really use some right now. I don't like the sound of that. Have you been eating? Somewhat. I could use some groceries. Could you top up my card? She made yet another sigh, and the guilt in me was growing stronger. Within the next few weeks, I want to meet up with you. I don't care if you have exams or sick or have friends over. I won't accept any excuse. You're not doing okay, and I'll have to see you through this. Understand? Yes, ma'am. I'm going out. It should be done in 10 minutes, but wait an extra 20 just to be sure. If 50 is fine? Thanks, Mom. No. Excuse me. Don't thank me. If you're really grateful, answer my calls. I'll try. I love you, Joel. Love you too, Mom. I almost wanted to just lie down on the sidewalk there. When the call ended, it felt as if a huge mountain had been lifted off my chest. Phew. And I got the money I needed in order to survive for a week or two. Though what bothered me now was her insistence on meeting up. I probably deserved that, as I'd ignored her for so long. I'd considered texting her, but she'd have called me if I'd done that, and that would have been worse. I'll figure it out next week. I mumbled the words to myself, one excuse after another, and continued to put off my problems. It seemed procrastination truly was my best way to deal with responsibilities. I resumed my walking and entered the mall while still trying to figure out what to do about my mother. On paper, it was simple. I just had to tell her the truth, say how I really felt, and address the biggest problem, which was the disgusting person next to her. In practice, though, I was scared that she wouldn't believe me. I'd been rejected before, so why would that change now? Letting out more sighs, I fetched myself a cart and entered the aisle. Everyone around me looked so happy, all the passers-by having a great time dining, shopping, or taking a leisurely walk. I was jealous of them. Ultimately, I was able to move my eyes off them and focus my attention on the task at hand, which was to buy food for myself. Looking at promotions and discounts, I browsed for the things that would last in my pantry as long as possible. However, unfortunately, the entire row was already bought up. It was too late. All the shelves were void of goods except one last box at the top. Come on! I stretched as much as I could, and I was standing on the tip of my toes, shaking. If my fingers touched the box, but there was no way I could pull it. You want that one up right there, right? Let me get that for you. I turned myself around and saw Blake, who was curiously scanning me. His eyes were open, although it was only for a few seconds. Blake? Why are you here? Shouldn't you be on the campus? The wolf grabbed the cereal box and handed it over. I took the box from his hand reluctantly and dropped it in my cart. I was, but then Clyde requested some last-minute supplies, so I'm here, though I didn't expect to see you. I managed to get some extra cash, so now I'm stocking up for the week. I'm glad to hear that Ryan won't have to worry now. True. Blake rested his big paw on my shoulder. The physical touch was kind of comforting, as I was dealing with so many problems lately. Though it was still a little too sudden for me, so I quickly set myself free from his touch. I wasn't sure if I was overreacting, but still, I'd rather be safe and make sure that others wouldn't get the wrong idea again. Is it okay if I come with you? We don't get to be on our own like this very often. Sure, I don't mind. I followed him to the next aisle to continue our browsing. For how long have we known each other? I tapped him on the back as I said that. We switched the lead, as I just remembered that there was something in another section that I needed to get. So now he was the one following me, so we switched the lead. 2 years? Oh, I like that. Whenever someone entered the school restroom and saw me, they'd immediately leave, except you. You always stayed. I took a glance at the contents on his cart. It was filled with bags of tea and sweets he'd gotten from the other aisle. I wondered if I was making him delay his task given by Clyde, but I kind of hated the idea of being left alone with my thoughts. I remember that. He asked me random things whenever I was peeing. I thought it was interesting how you just answer them. I thought of it as a way to kill time. It wasn't like I could just move during my business. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Teresm Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!